Hey, KindFest2023. It's lovely to be here, even if virtually. My name is Yossi Goodlink. I'm a spoken word poet and one half of the organisation Right to Speak, but I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a minute. First, I would like to ask you guys a question. What does it mean to be seen? In the vastness we call Earth, what does it truly mean to be heard? Personally, I find spoken word verse gives permanence to these moments I choose to rehearse. But really, what's the meaning of art? Temporary and fleeting, when our souls dance, how do we find the pure joy of creation in a mere re-articulation? The poet's burden, but we still rehearse these verses to fulfill the urges, quenching verbal purges. To be seen, not heard is what they tell children, but I'm a wordsmith, so I'll encourage the kids to share their verses. We need to listen to their wisdom, it's worth it. Restoring natural balance, because when I observe our planet's greatness, I feel weightless, free from the need to be seen. When I breathe, the sky breathes. I climb vines in high trees to pick mangoes and light cheese and fly free with a light breeze, free from the need to be seen, because I am one with my surroundings. How can I not see them? I feel me within them, then me dissolves into them. What is it to be seen by the blind? Who wants to stand out from this malaise? Why is it some of us have this burning desire to be seen like the sun, and others want to blend blindly into the blackness, into the dark, into the shade, into the shadow, over shoulder, always paro, this our future, see like tarot, then run, 'cause why blend? Stand, 'cause why bend? We broken, but we mend, 'cause we all people in the end. Thank you. I think what I said at the end there really begins to sum up how I feel about kindness. We broken, but we mend, because we all people in the end. And I think the first thing we need to do to be kinder to our neighbours and the people around us is recognise that a lot of us are broken in some way, and a lot of us are facing traumas and dealing with the trauma of existential crisis that it is to be alive in this world which is overrun with technology and evolution and way past the reams of what we can really contend with our unevolved human brains, our biological brains, and we're in this world of social media and advertising, and we're just overrun with stuff and content, and so it's really easy to forget that we're surrounded by people, people with their own problems. And there's a word, sonder, which is the realization of the fact that every other human being you pass in the street has as complicated life as you do, with all the problems and the joys and everything else that comes with that. And so I think we need to remember that, and we need to listen. We need to listen to young people, because young people, although it's cliched, young people are our future. And when you give young people the space to really express what it is that they've got in their minds and their hearts, it gives you hope to believe that we can build a better, fairer world for the future. So with the organisation I run, Right to Speak, I run it with my best friend, Tyler Luke Cunningham. We've been doing it for about 6 years. We're a spoken word poetry organisation, so we support young people and adults from all walks of life to express themselves through spoken word. And we do projects in primary schools, secondary schools, colleges, universities, charities, companies. And I get the real privilege of working with hundreds of young people and hearing what it is they've got to say on the issues that matter to them. And it's always so interesting hearing what it is that's important to young people and what it is they'd like to change about the world. And just by asking children those questions, what's important to you and what would you like to change about the world? The things that young people come out with, when you give them the freedom to just answer that in an educational setting that isn't restrictive like traditional schooling is, young people flourish. And every day, every week, we're hearing young people deliver these empowering spoken word performances using their words to share their views on the world and how they want to build a better world. And it's beautiful to hear. And so I think one way we really need to be kinder to each other and to young people is by listening and practicing sonder, and recognizing that everyone else's life is as complex as ours. And especially when it comes to young people, we often dismiss what it is that young people have to say, and because we think, oh, they're just children, their views don't matter. But I don't know if you remember being a child, but I do. And I remember feeling like my views did matter, and I had some really important things to say, but the adults in the world around me didn't necessarily want to hear that. So By cooperating and working together intergenerationally, I believe we can build a better world for the future. Because there are a lot of problems and a lot of monstrosities going on in the world right now. I don't know how we fix all of them. We are trying, but part of any solution will always be love, which is nothing more than a word, just an absurd verb that perturbs, an abstract noun that disturbs such internal stirs as makes lovers his, hers, and hers his, the house and kids, the companionship, unity is bliss, that which all starts with a kiss and don't tell at age 12, because we were all naughty kids just trying to do naughtiness, not knowing there was so much more to this. So how beautiful the progression to lifelong friendship. A king and queen able to share a settee in their own setting is such a blessing. Let that be a love that isn't testing, rare to find, but special when it vibes and those two entities collide in the space and time, somewhere just outside the average reach of mind, where soul and body intertwine. In search of these heights we step outside, open-eyed, hearts floating as our breath breaks through our chests and sings in the skies. And way up there, love lies, peacefully asleep on the humstrings of a violin's angel wing. Love sits, admiring all the attributes adorned to him, all the different dialects describing adoring him, and more that just love to admit, 'cause j'adore, and more, and more. And mo, we load arrows into our own pictures of Cupid's bows as we bow our heads at Cupid's toes. Let me sit back into my wisdom. Looking at the bigger picture, love is part of the system. You hear it within my scripture. The moment's exactly what I'm trying to capture when I'm describing love as rapture. But listen closely as I change the focus. Watch the aperture. There's infinite kinds of love. Here's another one coming at you. That sibling love, that simple stuff, that being there for each other when nothing else is enough, that bond you share that's more than blood. It's that growing up together trust. Then there's that business love, that let's make money and build a business, bruv. Then there's best friend love, those chosen family brotherly hugs. And then there's that synergy love, that nature's touching the inner me love, that elevated spiritual buzz when I see what your intricacy does. I'm talking mountainous river love, all stemming from above, because way up there in her chair sits love. Untainted Mother Earth watching over us, as people repeatedly paint patterns in the process of love. Thank you. Thank you all for listening and sharing this virtual space with me, which is what I presume is happening right now. If you want to hear more of my work, you can find me on YouTube, Yossi, Y-O-S-S-I, spoken word. You can find me on Instagram, Yossi_spoken word. And I've got an album out on Spotify, which you can find by typing Yossi, and the album's called For Some Reason. If you want to hear more about my educational work with Right to Speak, you can find out about that by visiting our website, www.righttospeak.co.uk. That's WRITE2speak.co.uk. We're also on Instagram at Right to Speak UK. And as well as doing workshops and projects supporting young people and adults, we run a monthly open mic event in North London. So if you'd like to come and meet us there and do some spoken word with us and hear some amazing poets, please come and join us there. Otherwise, stay open, be kind, and have a beautiful day. Thank you all.